What if God was already speaking to you before you even knew how to listen? What if a single moment of obedience could connect two completely different lives for a purpose far bigger than either of them imagined? And what happens when heaven interrupts the ordinary to change history? In the book of Acts of the Apostles 10:1-8, we are introduced to a man who, at first glance, seems unlikely to be at the center of a divine story. His name is Cornelius. Cornelius was a centurion in the Italian regiment stationed in Caesarea. That alone tells us something important. He was a Roman officer, a Gentile, not part of the Jewish community, not someone raised under the traditions of Israel. And yet something about him stood out. Scripture describes him as a devout man. He feared God, not just him, but his entire household. He gave generously to those in need. He prayed regularly. This is fascinating, because Cornelius didn't have the full picture. He didn't grow up with the same background as the Jewish believers. He didn't have all the teachings, all the laws, all the history, but he had something real, a sincere heart, a desire to seek God. And sometimes that's where everything begins. Cornelius represents something powerful, the idea that God sees beyond labels, beyond backgrounds, beyond what people assume about us. He sees the heart. One day, at about 3 p.m, something extraordinary happened. Cornelius had a vision. An angel of God came to him. Now imagine that moment. A trained Roman officer, a man of discipline, structure, and authority, suddenly standing face to face with something completely beyond human understanding. The angel calls him by name, Cornelius. And Cornelius responds in fear. "What is it, Lord?" he asks. There's something honest in that response. No pride, no resistance, just openness. And the angel says something that reveals how closely God had been watching him all along. "Your prayers and gifts to the poor have come up as a memorial offering before God." Think about that. Every prayer, every act of generosity, every quiet moment of seeking had been seen. Nothing was wasted, nothing was ignored. Even before Cornelius understood the full truth, his heart had already reached God. And now, God was responding. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. The angel doesn't give Cornelius all the answers. Instead, he gives him instructions. Send men to Joppa to bring back a man named Simon who is called Peter. That's it. No full explanation, no detailed plan, just a direction. Go, send, call. This is important, because sometimes God doesn't reveal everything at once. He gives us the next step and asks us to trust him with the rest. Cornelius could have questioned it. Why Peter? Why Joppa? What's going to happen? But he didn't. As soon as the vision ended, he called 2 of his servants and a devout soldier, someone who shared his faith, and told them everything that had happened. Then he sent them to Joppa. Immediate obedience, no delay, no hesitation. This is one of the most powerful parts of the story. Cornelius didn't wait until everything made sense. He acted on what he knew, and that action set something much bigger into motion. Because at the same time, in another place, another life was being prepared. Peter. Though not described in these exact verses yet, we know that God was already working on both sides of this story. This wasn't random. This was intentional. 2 different people, 2 different backgrounds, 2 different worlds, being brought together by one divine plan. And it all started with a man who prayed and listened. Cornelius' story challenges a common assumption, that you have to have everything figured out before God can use you. But here, we see the opposite. Cornelius didn't have complete understanding. He didn't know the full message of Jesus yet, but his heart was open. His life reflected sincerity, and God met him there. This is a reminder that faith often begins before clarity, before full knowledge, before everything is explained. It begins with a desire, a willingness, a step, and then God leads the way. There's also something deeply encouraging in this story, the idea that God notices. In a world where it often feels like small acts go unseen, like prayers disappear into silence, like doing good doesn't always lead to recognition, this moment tells us something different. God sees. He saw Cornelius, not just the big moments, but the consistent ones, the regular prayers, the quiet generosity, the unseen kindness, and at the right time, he responded. But notice this carefully. God's response wasn't just a blessing, it was an invitation into something greater. Cornelius wasn't just being acknowledged, he was being called into a larger purpose. And that's often how it works. When God responds, it's not just to comfort us, It's to move us, to guide us, to connect us with something bigger than ourselves. Cornelius had a role to play in a moment that would expand the reach of the gospel beyond what many expected. But at this point, he didn't know that. All he knew was this: send for Peter. Trust the process, take the step. There's something else worth noticing. Cornelius didn't keep the experience to himself. He shared it. He brought others into it. He called his servants. He included a devout soldier. He told them everything. Faith in this moment became communal, not private, not isolated, shared. And because of that, others became part of the journey. This is a powerful reminder. Your faith can influence others. Your obedience can involve others. Your willingness to act can create ripple effects beyond what you see. Those men traveling to Joppa, they were part of something bigger, even if they didn't fully understand it yet. And that's often how it works. We don't always see the full picture, but we step into it anyway, because we trust the one who does. Cornelius' story also speaks to those who feel like outsiders, those who feel like they don't belong, like they're not qualified for something spiritual, like they're too far removed, too different, too late. Cornelius was a Gentile, an outsider in the eyes of many, and yet God chose him, spoke to him, called him, used him. This breaks barriers, it challenges assumptions, it shows that God's reach is not limited by human boundaries. He meets people where they are and invites them into something greater. But again, it begins with response. Cornelius didn't ignore the vision. He didn't dismiss it. He didn't wait. He acted. And sometimes that's the difference. Not in what we experience, but in how we respond to it. You might feel a nudge, a thought, a moment where something feels different. The question is, what do you do with it? Do you ignore it, or do you take a step? Cornelius took the step, and because of that, history shifted. This moment in Acts of the Apostles is more than just a story about a vision. It's about alignment. God aligning people, timing and purpose, bringing together lives that would never naturally connect, and using that connection to open doors that had been closed. It's about preparation, not just in one person but in multiple lives at once, working behind the scenes before anything becomes visible. And it's about obedience, simple, immediate and powerful. Cornelius didn't need to know everything, he just needed to do what he was told. And that was enough to begin something extraordinary. So maybe the question this story leaves us with is simple. What is your next step? Not the whole journey, not the full plan, just the next step. Is it to listen more closely, to act on something you've been putting off, to trust even when you don't fully understand? Because you never know what that step might connect you to, who it might bring into your life, what purpose it might unlock. Cornelius didn't know, but he moved anyway, and that made all the difference. Thank you for watching this video. If this message spoke to you, don't forget to like, follow the channel, and share this video so more people can discover the power of faith, obedience, and divine purpose.